When he saw his beloved woman being pushed off a tall building, he chose to travel back to 10 years ago. But he didn't know that his beloved woman also traveled back with him. As soon as Wataru returned to 2015, he met Reina, who killed Misa in his previous life. Reina took the initiative to throw herself into Wataru's arms and lied that she had sprained her ankle in order to gain Wataru's concern. But Wataru just glanced at her indifferently. History is repeating itself according to its original trajectory. The manager once again asked Misa and Yuriko to redo the Grape project. Misa clearly remembered that in her previous life, they had worked overtime endlessly for this, repeatedly revised several versions, and finally submitted the first version of the document by mistake due to various coincidences. It was not until then that she realized that the manager had not read any plan at all, and everything was just to force them to give up so that Reina could take over. That time, Yuriko missed picking up her daughter because of overtime, causing the child to fall and get injured. Memories came to her mind, and Misa firmly said to Yuriko, "The project proposal does not need to be revised, just reformat it and it will pass." Although Yuriko was terrified, she bit the bullet and handed it in, and was surprised to find that Misa was right. The disaster that would have fallen on the child fell on the manager this time. Reina was no longer a pushover in her student days, and her little tricks were exposed on the spot by Misa. In order to ease the relationship, Reina pretended to repent, saying that she was young and ignorant, and she did those things only because she was afraid that Misa would be snatched away by others. If she hadn't come back with the memory of her previous life, Misa might have believed her. But in order to let Reina bear the consequences for herself and to successfully match her and Tomoya into marriage, she could only pretend to forgive. The two walked all the way downstairs of the company, but Reina suddenly said, "I have broken up with my boyfriend and now I have a new crush." Misa was shocked. According to the plot of her previous life, she had not broken up yet. Misa followed Reina's eyes and found that she was looking at Wataru. Could it be that because of a decision of hers, Reina fell in love with Wataru? If so, Reina and Tomoya might not be able to achieve a happy ending. When Misa was full of doubts, she heard Reina say to Wataru, "Thank you so much this morning, because you are by my side, which makes me feel so safe." Misa panicked at this time, because she knew who all of Reina's previous boyfriends were. In Misa's previous life, Wataru and Reina had no intersection. If the plot changes, it means that Misa's plan will be completely disrupted. The implementation of the Great Project is about to begin, and Misa originally planned to let Wataru help her. But when she was about to tell Wataru about this, she saw Wataru and Mika interacting intimately in a stairwell. Misa suddenly became furious and immediately labeled Wataru a super scumbag in her heart. But despite this, she still told Wataru about the project. Wataru also readily agreed to help, but Misa suddenly thought of his character, suddenly regretted it, turned around and left, and didn't even give Wataru a chance to explain. Tomoya broke into Misa's house with a spare key and told her that he would also go to the vineyard to inspect tomorrow. In order to get Reina to turn her attention to Tomoya, Misa decided to take him shopping and create a dazzling outfit for him. While shopping, she saw Reina's dynamic photo, in which she was hugging a man whose face was not shown. Misa subconsciously thought that the man was Wataru, but in fact it was Reina's ex-boyfriend. She threatened her ex-boyfriend to accompany her shopping and give her a breakup fee, otherwise she would go to his company. The next day, Misa saw Wataru and Miku arriving in the same car, and she became more and more convinced that he was a playboy. In Misa's eyes, every move he made seemed to attract Reina's attention. During the meal, Reina deliberately revealed that Misa and Tomoya were engaged. Upon hearing the news, Wataru looked at Misa angrily. This made Misa feel very puzzled. After the meal, Wataru found her and asked Misa why she was so hostile to him today. Seeing him pestering her again and again, Misa couldn't help it anymore. "It's my freedom to marry whoever I want. If you have time to interfere in other people's lives, you might as well cherish Mika." Wataru said puzzledly, "Mika." Misa said, "I know you two are dating. Please don't be a scumbag." Wataru said, "Mika is my sister." Wataru took out his cell phone and showed Misa his family photos and said that he was on a business trip yesterday and was not with Reina at all. Only then did Misa realize that she had misunderstood him. The two who had resolved the misunderstanding sat on a bench, eating grapes and laughing. This scene happened to be seen by Reina. On the way back, Reina took the initiative to ask to take a car with Wataru. She told Wataru that her mother died a long time ago and she had been feeling lonely all these years. She also revealed that she was single now. She envied Misa and always felt that no matter how hard she tried, she could not be better than her. Reina also said that Misa was smart and friendly to everyone, but it was not a good thing to be likable all the time. Reina praised herself and belittled Misa in her words, and she thought her words were clever and subtle. But she didn't realize that Wataru had already seen through her true colors and hit back without mercy on the spot. Are you Misa's good friend? Are you always destroying your friend's reputation behind her back? Reina was stunned and her words became hesitant. Finally, Wataru warned Reina that those who framed others but didn't care would definitely have retribution. Reina suddenly got out of the car, but for a moment she forgot that her feet were still sprained. Seeing the three people in the car staring at her, Reina resolutely made up her mind and deliberately stood in the blind spot to make them mistakenly think that she was kissing Wataru. But in fact, Reina looked at Wataru with fierce eyes. Reina cleverly created the illusion of the two kissing, successfully misleading Misa and others. Then she took the opportunity to find Misa alone, wanting to show off, but she didn't expect that Misa said Wataru was a playboy before she opened her mouth. The reason why Misa spread rumors about Wataru was to correct the direction of the plot. At this time, Reina had just been rejected by Wataru, and hearing Misa's comments on Wataru happened to coincide with her mind. Reina frankly said that Wataru was a disgusting person and she was just deceived for a while. In order to distance herself from Wataru, Misa deliberately kept a distance from him in the company. Wataru noticed something unusual and took the initiative to ask her to meet alone to ask the reason. When Misa mentioned the kiss between the two, Wataru thought she was alienating herself because of this and hurriedly explained, I told Reina that I was not interested in her, but she got so close to me and called me a jerk. Misa couldn't help laughing. After laughing, Misa calmed down and suggested that it would be better not to meet alone in the future. She knew that the purpose of her rebirth was to change her fate. If she continued to have contact with Wataru, she might deviate from the trajectory of her life again. In order to avoid complications and delay the opportunity, Misa began to match Reina and Tomoya. Misa asked the two out and deliberately showed her affection in front of Reina. Misa knew that Reina would never tolerate her happiness. The more she provoked Reina, the faster things would develop. As expected, Misa deliberately got Tomoya drunk at night and then pretended to go to the bathroom, but actually hid in the dark to observe. Misa watched Reina reach out to Tomoya, and Tomoya did not dodge at all. Misa witnessed her best friend teasing her boyfriend, but she did not get angry but laughed instead. Reina's actions were faster than Misa expected. The next day, Reina asked Tomoya to meet at the bar. She said that Misa seemed to be very close to others recently, and at the same time she insinuated that Misa was engaged but had an ambiguous attitude, and even compared her to Misa's mother, mocking her that like mother, like daughter. After separating from Reina, Tomoya called Misa to talk about the meeting between the parents of both parties. While they were talking, Wataru suddenly appeared and grabbed Misa's hand. I will help you. Misa felt that if someone interfered in her affairs, it would change someone's life trajectory again. Misa, who rejected Wataru's kindness, just walked out of the company and met Tomoya. Tomoya asked her on the spot why she changed the door lock and why she held hands with Wataru in the office. It turned out that Tomoya had seen all this a long time ago. During the conversation between the two, Tomoya told Misa's mother that she abandoned her family. Misa was surprised. Why did he know this? It must be Reina who said it. Back home, Misa felt a sharp pain in her abdomen. The feeling was exactly the same as when she had cancer in her previous life. The next day, Misa had lunch with Reina. It was Reina who told Tomoya that she was too close to others, but now she falsely accused others in front of Misa. Reina said Tomoya suspected that she was having an affair with someone else and advised Misa not to rush to get married and to see clearly the character of the person first. Reina also said, even if Misa doesn't marry Tomoya, I will always be with you. Reina's hypocritical face was clearly revealed. That night, Tomoya took the initiative to come and apologize for his behavior yesterday and took out the reserved wedding room, hoping to finalize the wedding date as soon as possible. He thought that an apology would be able to exchange for Misa's forgiveness, but he didn't expect that Misa was no longer the person she knew. Misa immediately proposed to break up with Tomoya, but Tomoya was still concerned about the apartment, and Misa proposed to terminate the contract. With the word break up, the original life trajectory was quietly rewritten. Wataru learned from Miko that Misa proposed to terminate the contract and was now going to the apartment to handle the procedures. He hurried over, worried that the tragedy 10 years ago would happen again. At this time, Misa had just arrived at the apartment, and an ominous premonition came over her. Suddenly, Tomoya appeared and held her tightly. This moment seemed like 10 years ago. Misa was pushed downstairs by Tomoya and Reina. The script of life, if you don't find a replacement but insist on changing your fate, will usher in the last scene. At this time, Wataru appeared and hugged Misa and said that he would never let her die again. In the previous life, an orange rolled next to Misa's body, and Wataru, who was holding the orange, witnessed her death scene with his own eyes. Because of this, Wataru also traveled to 10 years later.